You know when you break up with your girlfriend and you ask the question, will we ever love again? My question on this video with the founder of EMP.money, the question I have for him is, will we ever hit peg again? That is what is so important to me. Guys, you know EMP.money has been like an anchor in my freaking portfolio through this crazy bear market. Today, CPI data comes in. Disgusting, horrible. We cannot stop inflation in this country. If you're buying real estate right now, why? I'm curious, why are you buying right now when you know the prices are probably going to dip? I don't know. There's a lot going on. The markets are bloody today. I'm looking for answers. Hopefully you are too. You're feeling the heat. We've got an ETH merger coming up. What is that going to do for the overall crypto market? So when I got questions like this, I got to bring the man on himself. His name is AJ Brockman, founder of EMP.money, the most stable guy in the crypto space. Everybody's a fan of him, and he's honest, and he ain't going to rug pull, and you're not going to do any flashy, stupid stuff that you hear about from all these crappy little projects that pop up. EMP's been around for a long time. I've got a huge bag in it. We're going to go through it all. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome AJ Brockman.
Right on, Jonathan. What an intro, brother. I love it, man. Yes, thanks for having me back, bro. I always enjoy our conversations, and yeah, man, there's blood in the streets, especially today. Holy hell! But we're hanging in there, bro. And yeah, I would love to do a deep dive at all this. So
Now, as a multimillionaire yourself, what the frick is behind you in the background?
I know, brother. I love
Are
it.
these like collectible antiques or what?
They are. This is my vintage Disney collection behind me. Again, I got to come up with some wacky background, right? Isn't that like a YouTube thing? So yeah, man. Again, it's kind of scary at night, but during the day it looks pretty cool. So yeah.
I love that. Um, so AJ, let's get going here. Tell me about this Ethereum merge. Like people that haven't been following, like, can you tell what is it? When is it happening? And then we can get into like how that might affect EMP.money.
For sure, brother. So yeah, and the elephant in the room, so to speak, is us being below peg, and we'll get to that for sure after this. But one of the major reasons why we're seeing a lot of sell off on EMP and ETH as a whole is because of this ETH merger. So typically in the crypto world, there's what they call buy the rumor and sell the news. So with mergers or big events like this, we see a ton of volatility coming up to this merge. And really, this is one of the biggest events in crypto history. I mean, what it is that ETH is moving from a proof of work blockchain, which again is done through very wasteful, energy mining through GPUs. Again, proof of work is also how Bitcoin is run. And so really, it just, this is a whole transition into proof of stake, which actually, and not a lot of people know this, but this will actually make Ethereum deflationary over the long run. And again, the validators are rewarded based on the amount of ETH they hold, not based on the mining power that they possess. So it's a major change, and I mean, it makes me bullish on Ethereum long term. I just think people are a little bit freaked out and not really sure what to expect. And on top of one of the worst crypto bear markets we've seen, so it's kind of a perfect storm. But
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Now, when you think about where we've come from with EMP.money and where we are today, how would you rate EMP as far as like where we're at strength wise as a community, as a project? Are we winding down? Are we winding up? Where would you say we are?
totally, brother. So we are below peg, and we've been below peg for the last few weeks. Again, we've seen a continual slide on peg. But I've said from day one that we are much different. So typically in a two fork, which is what we are, or a senior protocol, the only way to profit is through the boardroom. And so people have this misconception that we have to be above peg to print, and that's the only way to make money. However, we are a totally different mechanism at EMP. We built some amazing, use cases through Detonator and now Reactor and other things on the platform where you truly can realize gains without having to worry about the boardroom printing. Now, is PEG important? Absolutely, and we are 35% under PEG right now. Which in the grand scheme of things sounds like a lot, but really it isn't. I mean, we see other tube forks that are at 0.3% or less. So they're dying. I mean, and we've had some amazing success so far. We're going to continue to build. And so yeah, long story short is it's about learning the ecosystem and how to put your money to work without actually being so nervous about PEG. And we can get into that a little bit. Again, the treasury is still very healthy. We have a ton of revenue streams that we're going to be launching, and so yeah. But I wanted to, I guess, let me ask you, Jonathan, like, what would be your concern with being below PEG, and then maybe we can answer that.
Well, I think for me, like, obviously, I am trying to put my shares to work. And you can see I have a couple here. I don't know. I've got a lot of money that is sitting in shares, and I'm looking at waiting for PEG, and it's day after day after day, and I'm wondering how will we ever recover to PEG again? Is boardroom still a thing? Should we just delete this word boardroom? And like, I'm giving you the hard questions, AJ. Giving you a hard time.
I love it, bro. I love it. Listen, we've been on an AMA run the last few days, and I love all the hard questions. Like, that's me. I'm fully transparent. Nothing is ever off the table. And so, yes, I get it. People are so used to, again, like I said, profiting through the boardroom. Do we have to get rid of the boardroom completely? No, because again, the overall economics of EMP are still an algorithmic token pegged to the price of Ethereum. So that is important in the ecosystem. Again, however, we're all here to make money. And so the idea is that we want to make money in a way that doesn't hurt the protocol. And so we've seen people, again, get nervous, or, even with the overall market conditions, especially the ETH merger that we were just talking about, we see people taking profit in EMP. And, that's okay if you're leaving the protocol and getting out, basically. But if you want to stay here and you want your shares to appreciate in value, the very last thing you want to do is dump your EMP, because that is what, again, determines PEG. People think PEG is determined based on the ETH price, but solely the only thing that determines PEG is the buying and selling volume on EMP. So the more you sell EMP, the lower the PEG goes, and the more devalued the rest of your assets in the protocol are. And so, again, this has been a very volatile time. We're fully aware of that. People may be getting frustrated that we're not doing buybacks, but we've seen other protocols literally die because they implement buybacks too soon, and then bad actors use that as exit liquidity to the protocol. So, and really, what's going to fix this, and I use that in air quotes, because it is just a natural up and down swing of PEG. But what will ultimately fix this issue, I guess you would say, or get us back to PEG, is revenue streams. And so we have been really working hard on multiple new revenue streams. We've launched Reactor.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Reactor. So this is a brand new tab on the website. You guys launched this a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, bro. It's only been like 12 days. So yeah, and the Reactor is our proof of concept where, and again, we'll talk a little bit about this in a minute, but we saw so much value in Detonator, and it's why that code has remained closed source. We always thought there was a bigger role for Detonator to play in the DeFi ecosystem overall. And so with Reactor, it's basically our proof of concept on copying the Detonator code and offering it as a service. So software as a service, or an actual product that will create revenue for us. So Reactor launched about 12 days ago. There's already almost $2 million in the contract. If you scroll down, you'll be able to see it a little bit there. So yeah, 1.8 billion in the contract in 12 days. And what this does is not only in our own ecosystem does it provide the EMP ETH. I'm sorry. So Detonator is EMP ETH LP. Reactor is eShare BNB LP. And so this will deepen the liquidity on eShares and also give another use case for eShare. So when you're not earning in the boardroom with your shares, you can potentially put it in a Reactor. And I mean, right now, Reactor is paying over 1% a day, which is just, massive. Again, that number will come down over time, but at the moment we're seeing amazing results. And so this was the proof of concept. Everything worked flawlessly. And now we're planning on offering Detonator style contracts. We're calling it Detonator as a Service, or DOS. And that will be something that we're able to charge for other protocols. And it is the number one solution in all of DeFi right now on helping to build locked protocol-owned liquidity. And again, liquidity is king. A lot of other protocols, have a very hard time building liquidity unless there's some sort of taxes involved or other mechanisms. And really, it's about the larger your liquidity, the more healthy your protocol is. Everybody gets caught up on TVL, total value locked, and that's important too. But the larger your liquidity, that really allows for everybody in your protocol to actually profit the numbers that are on the screen. So yeah, I know there was a lot to unpack. I'm happy to go a little farther into it.
Well, are you familiar with Horde's liquidity management system?
Absolutely, brother. So again, we that their liquidity management system works a little bit differently. They're again, they call it liquidity management, but really it's a way for them to protect the price. In other words, again, if you pull up a chart for Horde, it's a great example. Thanks, Jonathan. So yeah, they have been trading in this very tight range, for months. And so what it does is it sells the native asset when it's above this range, and it buys it back when it's below this range. So it's been very, very lucrative and a way to really stabilize the price of a token. But that really doesn't necessarily add to the actual liquidity of that token. So again, it adds to the treasury or whatever again is managing that LMS. So again, it's a different mechanism than Horde, but we've taken that concept of again leasing out. I mean, Horde has been doing it for the last 2 months, and they with their LMS. They've generated like $1.5 billion in revenue. So we think that we can at least match that, if not exceed that, through our Detonator as a service. So
is there? Are you talking with anybody that's? I mean, obviously you're just releasing the reactor, the Detonator as a service. Is there any people that are, possible customers, if you will, of this?
Totally. So we've already announced the second one in line. Tomorrow we announce our first official partner. Again, things have been a little out of order here, but tomorrow we'll announce our first official partner, and it's a massive one. And then the second one we've already announced, which is Grow DeFi. They're an awesome protocol. The guys behind Hypermine and Perps, their new perpetual contract that's releasing, where you can trade commodities and stocks and a bunch of stuff in crypto through crypto. So, and then we have 2 more that have already signed on board. One of them is on AVAX, so we'll actually be cross-chain as well. Again, as long as it's an EVM compatible chain, we could launch this Detonator service on that. So yeah, I mean, we had huge interest already. And again, the way our fee model is that we take anywhere from 2% to 4% of all the deposits into these contracts as a fee. And so again, half of that is most likely a blue chip, whether it's BNB or Ethereum or whatever chain it's on. And so this is revenue coming into EMP. And so this is just one of many partnerships and potential revenue streams that we have. We've also announced our partnership with MDB Infinity. Their pre-sale was supposed to happen today. They had to delay it by a day, but that's bullish because again they're not releasing any code that maybe have an exploit. But they have committed to using a portion of that sale to invest into EMP. And that could be, again, up to 250 grand from that alone. And we have an NFT partnership with them where they'll be doing an MDB EMP NFT. So say that 10 times fast. But that could be another $500,000 invested into EMP. So the money is there. We just have to, again, get through the merge, get through the overall market sentiment. And so I've never been more bullish on EMP. I think the community sentiment may be a little bit down right now just because we're below peg, but we've always had the most positive community out there. And we just released our new academy as well. So if you want to learn about EMP, that's a great way to get started and continue to, bolster your DeFi knowledge. So.
Yeah. There's a lot of new projects that are kind of bot focused right now, and AJ and I were talking about that before we came on here, and AJ was just saying, there's a lot of different investment strategies, but the thing with bots, as we know, is you have one crazy bad day and they can happen. In fact, oftentimes they do. And it wipes you out. You can have a drawdown of 20 to 40%. You could lose everything, to be honest. But the thing with having EMP as part of your portfolio is you end up, you're part of a greater ecosystem. And so the broader the ecosystem, the less likely a single bullet is going to take the whole thing down. Oh, is there anything you want to add to that?
Well said, Jonathan. Yeah, no, exactly, bro. That's a great analogy. And yeah, I mean, we see a new wave of these bot, protocols, which, most of them probably are legit. Some of them may just be, shilling or having that smoke screen of saying they're a bot when really they're not. But really, again, it boils down to risk tolerance. So everything in DeFi is risky. I just personally, again, the APRs may look really good, and I know we're all guilty of jumping to the next shiny object in DeFi, but I think really, and that's how I've made my millions in crypto, is really just investing in projects stand the test of time. I mean, yes, will things go down? Sure. I mean, that's where the most money is made is during these dips, and again DCAing into when coins are cheap and then selling when coins are expensive. And again, that's not financial advice at all, but it's just my personal journey that I've experienced. And again, I mean, the majority of community, we call them our emperors or empresses, they're super positive. I mean, they see the potential. We do daily AMAs. I'm never, any question on the table, I'm happy to answer. Even now, there's been a lot of question about the detonator daily burst, which is the daily, return that you get. It's been fluctuating between 0.4 and 0.6% daily. But what people don't remember is ROI is based on dollar value. So even though you may see your daily burst going down in terms of LP, when, and I say when, not if, Ethereum recovers and is now 3 or 4 times higher in price than what it is right now, your dollar value absolutely skyrockets. And that is a major difference with EMP because it's an actual exposure to Ethereum, not just some made-up token, that you hope goes up in value. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. Everyone is, you have to understand markets do move in cycles, that not every day is a green day and not every project is going to have just straight up and to the right. you got to look at the jockey and the horse. So with AJ and his team, they're going to stick around. How long have you already been around? How long has
Yeah,
EMP been?
brother. We're going on our 8 month anniversary, or 8 month, yeah, of being alive. We started on February 18th earlier this year, and again, I mean, our roadmap goes, and I know people laugh at us for this, but we have a 1 year, a 5 year, and a 10 year roadmap.
Wow.
Because we really feel like we can, outpace all of this, especially with Detonator as a service and actual revenue streams coming in to bolster peg, to add LP to detonator, or add LP to reactor. I mean, the runway could be massive, and really truly, create amazing passive income for everybody. And it is a game. I mean, we've always been super transparent about that too. This isn't, a certificate of deposit or, an annuity. It is a game. These ROI contracts are a game. There's a lot of game theory. And I think everybody's concern, which I completely understand, is A, will you be able to recover peg? And B, what prevents these contracts from draining? And both of those answers are healthy treasuries, revenue streams, continuing to build, which again, I mean, we have an announcement in our protocol literally once a week, if not more, on bullish partnerships. We just partnered with Splinterlands, which is one of the biggest play to earn games out there. And they had enough confidence in us to take EMP as a payment token.
Sorry about that. We had technical difficulties. But AJ, before I let you go, maybe just speak to the community. A lot of people that are in EMP, we are long. We do have that long set mindset. We're not worried about the day to day. In fact, I love EMP because I just simply come every day. I can claim, I can compound, do a mixture of both in the detonator, in the reactor. It's literally like, it's funny because sometimes it might be like $20 and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go to Chipotle. I'll just go buy, it's like $20. I just got that. And it's fun. There's a dopamine fix to your project. And, obviously we all want Boardroom to be at PEG again and print more EMP. But for people that are like chasing all these squirrels and thinking, man, maybe I should just exit EMP altogether, I'm just going to move on. Like, what would your word of caution be for them? You can't give it financial advice as a founder of a project. I know, but for you, like if your kids are in EMP, what would you tell them?
I love it, Jonathan. Yes, brother. So, and again, we talk about this every day on our live stream. So we do an hour-long AMA in our own community, and I'd love to talk to each and every one of you individually. Just type in emp.money on YouTube. We're now a revenue share partner with YouTube as well. So I'm a fellow YouTuber, Jonathan. How about that, brother? But no, so yes, I get it. I mean, I'm speaking to you all as if you were my mother or my family. Nothing has changed fundamentally with the economics of EMP. I think this is truly just short-term volatility that we're seeing on PEG, and we have everything in place to recover PEG. Again, the number one thing to recover PEG is simply more buying pressure on EMP itself. And like I just said earlier, over the next 2 or 3 weeks, over the next 2 or 3 weeks, we literally have $1 million of fresh capital that could be entering the ecosystem through these partnerships and the revenue streams that we've made. So, I think that there's always this urge of trying to, follow the next best thing. But really, again, that is how you lose in the long term. The idea is that you want to invest in your investments and really support the protocols that are showing results, and teams that are not going to just disappear. And again, I mean, your only other option really, as far as ETH exposure, is to hold Ethereum in your wallet. And so, yes, there is more risk with EMP, but you're able to earn exponentially more with exposure to ETH by being EMP. And that is the whole goal. Again, we have even more bullish news coming of even a revenue share model, because I always said my goal was to make it more profitable to hold EMP than selling it. So over the next few months, again, we have to get detonator as a service out. We have some other upgrades we're working on. But by the end of the year, that revenue share model should be live. And really, all of you that are selling EMP now are going to be really sad, when you have to buy it back at a more expensive price. And again, that's not financial advice. You'll never hear me say, EMP's going to moon, or, get in now. Like that. That's not who I am. To each their own. I've been in DeFi for the last 5 to 7 years, and again, I know how these cycles operate. And my ultimate goal is to help everybody win through EMP. And I know that might sound cliche, but over the last 7 months, we've done nothing but try to prove that through our actions rather than words. I mean, we've never had an exploit. We've never, announced a launch date that we never hit. I mean, literally everything possible to help EMP succeed, we've been doing. And those of you that are in our community for the long run understand that. Yeah. And if you're on the fence, again, I get it. But we would love to have you learn about our ecosystem. We'd love to have you join if you're not in already. Again, Reactor has been killing it. That would be, I would say, definitely start in the farms or either Detonator or Reactor. Don't really worry about the boardroom right now because you're able to gain immediately through the farms and through Detonator and through Reactor. So, yeah.
Love it, man. Well, thank you for keeping it real and coming on here and just giving us a quick update and reminding us of all that you guys are doing, because you really are. When AJ says they haven't really missed a deadline, that's true. And they're constantly developing. I know it's a lot of work for you, AJ, and you put so much time, energy, and effort into the community. So on behalf of the whole community, land, thank you. And thank you for not just saying, oh, we're going to launch a brand new project and leave EMP in the dust. I don't see that happening in your future. So
no way, brother. Absolutely. And again, more bullish news. And I know we talked about this in our original AMA, but I think a lot of people are forgetting about Impulse. So yes, we're not launching a new project, but we are launching a sister project as soon as the Pulse chain launches. And the only way to get early access to that is by being an EMP ETH holder, the LP holder, whether it's in the farms or a detonator. So, there's so much value add that we try to provide and more reason to hold, even though things are a little rough right now, and that will always be the mantra here. So yeah, brother, and I always appreciate your support too, Jonathan. You've been nothing but supportive the whole time. And again, we're just out here trying to, change the landscape of DeFi. No more rug pulls, no more shady devs. 100% transparency. And that's what we're all about. So,
love it. Well, thanks again, AJ. And for you guys that are on the sidelines and you're wondering, what am I doing? EMP has been one of my top projects this whole year, and I'm not giving up. I'm not leaving. I just look at the jockey. I look at the team. I look at what they're doing. I look at the new developments, like he just mentioned there, Impulse. That's going to be a whole new catalyst of new capital coming in. Why would people come into EMP to get into Impulse? Because that's the way to get into Impulse early. And you say what you want about Richard Hart. Nobody likes him. Everybody loves him. Whatever your opinion is of him, you don't have to like people to make money with them. That Pulse Chain and that project, it's gonna be huge, and there's gonna be a lot of attention on that. So there's Catalyst coming. The Reactor he talked about, being able to sell that as a service. And if you track like EMP and E-shares with the overall market, now's maybe a time to start like accumulating some of these things at the cheap. I saw the CPI data come out and you see a little sell-off in EMP. Well, what does CPI data and EMP have anything to do with each other? But it tells you like so much of DeFi, crypto is all correlated with the broader market. And if anything, as an investor, I see dips as an opportunity, not as something to go cry about and bail. Never sell the bottoms, because you have all this new development, and the longer and older EMP gets, the more credibility, and that's what people look for when they invest. So consider EMP.money as being part of your portfolio. I know there's a lot of new flashy things. Go get some of those too, but I like having some drip, EMP, got those as like, my projects that I'm not giving up on.
And we're the least tribalistic community you're gonna ever meet. Again, I'm a OG hex whale. I'm a drip whale. I mean, I love it. There's money to be made everywhere. I love Forex. All that. So again, we have to just kind of see what the landscape is, know overall where we're going, and like you said, Jonathan, now the last thing you want to do is sell the bottom. Again, trust me from my personal experience, you're gonna regret that. And again, that's not financial advice, but now is the time to accumulate overall. And again, going into the hopefully next bull run by the end of the year or sometime next year, now you'll have all these massive positions in detonator and reactor and the farms where you're getting paid an e-share in the farms. E-share at one point was $3,000 an e-share, and right now we're just under 300. So,
right.
There is that degen opportunity as well. And then people think, man, I want that next 10x or 100x. Well, if you play the ecosystem right, you do have that opportunity as well. But everything in EMP is built on sustainability. So just remember, it's better to have $10 a day forever than $100 today, and then not get any. Absolutely, bro.
Yeah. All right, man. I love it, AJ. I know you got another meeting to tend to, so thank you so much for your time. Thanks for all your work. And to my community, we will see you guys in the next